Welcome, time for some art fun. Today I'm going to take you with me to a coffee shop to do some art out and about, and I'm going to give you my full Leonardo collection of my Leonardo fountain pens. That way, if you're here for the cute art, you can watch that part. If you're here for the fountain pens, you can watch that part. If you're here for both, stay for the whole thing. I will timestamp the different sections so you can skip around to what you want. So if you're ready for some fun, stick around. I am recording this voiceover outside, so you might hear neighborhood sounds like dogs barking or birds chirping, so pay no mind. I took my sketch kit that I've done videos on, like many videos on, because I've been using it for this whole sketchbook, to go to another coffee shop, one of my favorites, with my best friend who's visiting from out of town. And I made this little axolotl. They are so stinking cute. And for this one, I wanted to do more of a high contrast piece. I wanted to do layers of watercolor in the background and negative painting, where you paint around objects to make the background darker and leave the parts you leave unpainted lighter. And so that's what I'm doing with this background. It was so much fun. I'm down to only maybe 6 pages left in this sketchbook. And if you'll remember, this sketchbook was gifted to me. It's a Mossery sketchbook with little corgis all over it, which is so stinking cute. And my friend Moni from the channel Moni D Major gave this to me, and I'm almost done filling it up. I used my same watercolor palette that I just leave in this travel case, and I'm making some really good progress. There's a lot of pan starting to show, and I used a lot of Daniel Smith different high variety greens. So like Cascade Green, Apatite, what is it, Green Apatite? Oh my gosh, Green Gold I used. Those are 3 of my favorite greens to do this kind of work, where you want the watercolor to move around and you don't want to be able to predict what it looks like real underwater, the real underwater murky look. And I also used Perylene green here to make it a much darker in between the sort of vague idea of leaves and seaweed and things that grow, not leaves, but you know what I mean, seaweed that flow underwater. And so I loved how the background came out. I thought it was super cute. And then I ended up filling in this happy little axolotl while I was talking to my friend who got a free book from the, well, not free, but you borrow it and then you leave it in another free library. And she's bringing this free library book all the way to Delaware on the East Coast, where she'll leave it in her free library around her neighborhood. And the book that she found was The Millionaire Next Door. And I think I read a more recent version of it. I think the one she got was the original version. But I loved that book. I thought it was so cool and really interesting. So I'm excited to hear what she thinks about it. But anyway, I just used this one water brush. It's a Pentel water brush for the entire thing. It doesn't really come to a super fine point because it's more for travel watercolor and just kind of getting gestures and things like that. So I really don't get too fussed with these out and about coffee shop paintings. I'm just trying to have fun. I want to fill this sketchbook up so I can give you guys a tour. I want to fill it with nothing but cute animals. I have like one portrait in here. And everything else, I just was like, you know what, I'm doing what I want, and I want to do cute animals. So that's what I did with this. And I think this one definitely qualifies. Doesn't he just make you, or she, who knows, make you want to go and just snuggle? Like, this is the snuggliest looking reptilian sea creature I've ever imagined. And the thing is, my reference picture, which I got, I can't remember if it was off of Pexels or Pixabay, is so stinking cute. And did indeed have that little tongue sticking out. So I hope you enjoyed that. And now for my Leonardo Officina Italiana collection. So Leonardo is a fountain pen brand. And by the way, I do want to just note, all of these cases are Galen leather cases, all 3 of these. This is the 10 pen case, and it is leather on the outside. There's this felt on the inside to keep them from rubbing up against each other, and it fits 10 pens. These 2 are Leonardo's, so these 2 are coming out for this. And so this is the 10 pen case, and these 2 are zip and slips. So this one is, I believe, the Crazy Horse Brown zip and slip, and I've got 3 Leonardo's in here. And this one is the Navy zip and slip. So I've got, and yeah, you can see I just love how it patinas. They feel really good. I love these zip and slips because this little 4 pen holder comes out, but you can still put like stickers or little papers or anything else that you want in there. And so the reason I'm doing my Leonardo collection, and you can kind of get an overview if you know pens of some of the other ones I have, as I'm opening these cases, is Leonardo is the brand I have by far the most of. So my 7 Leonardo Officina Italiana fountain pen collection. I have a bunch of different models you can see from the size, but you'll also see from the shape when I go through them. I'm just going to go from left to right. The first one is the Momento Magico, and that's the pen body, that's the style. The material is called Cosmic Dust, and I darn near passed out when I saw this in person. I did not expect it to be as gorgeous as it is. These materials are called primary manipulations, usually, because you take different colors, like primary colors, and you let them keep a lot of their individual swirls, so you can see them individually when you're making the material for the pen body. So I just loved all of this beautiful, shimmering, shining gold. Like you can see all the gold in here. See that? Oh my gosh. The teal, my favorite. There's this gorgeous, it's called chatoyance, like a cat's eye. I love the chatoyant, like wine color, burgundy color. I love everything about this pen. There's navy in here. I just thought all the colors go so well together, and I love how this ivory, creamy white offsets all of those colors. It's just like the perfect mix of colors to me. And I really love, this is the only one I have that has a matte gold. So they call this the hardware, or the jewelry is matte gold. It also has this little Leonardo wings, that's their logo. And then it has the signature Leonardo. I don't have any other pens with this cap band. So it's very, very unique. This is a piston filler, but it also has an ink window. So actually here, let me see. Yeah, see? You can see that I'm almost done with this ink fill. I have in here Robert Oster Astorquiza Rot. So it's like some kind of a red, Rot, German for red. And I mean, look at this section. Look at all the gorgeous teal on that section, so beautiful. This has a gold colored steel nib, and it is a broad, and it writes so juicy. Here, I'll try to give you just a quick. Sorry, I tried to look at the viewfinder and mess that up. And I'm holding this aloft, so bear with my handwriting. And here, this is a wetness test. So gorgeous. So I love this pen. It is a great size. It's definitely one of my smaller Leonardos. They're known for being kind of enormous, and I love that, but man, look at that. Now, actually, I'll use this opportunity to show you one trick with Leonardos. I've found this, because these all have such different patterns depending on how they're turned, and I usually like to have this teal facing me when I put the pen away. All you have to do is when you take it off, figure out how many, twists it takes to fully turn it, and this one's pretty much just one. So line up the pattern that you want showing on front, almost just a little bit to the left. When you're closing it, it'll catch there, and boom, you've got that showing instead of the other side. So that's really important to just show you that you can kind of control what it looks like in your pen case, even though however the nib is put in, and lucky for me, the nib was put in to align with the teal. So I get to look at that beautiful teal focus when I'm writing. If I don't pay attention when I'm closing it, like if I just close it there, then that's what's gonna show. So that's just a trick that took me a second to figure out, and I really like knowing that, and it works on pretty much every Leonardo that I own. Here's the next one. This one is my fanciest and by far most expensive Leonardo. This is the 2020 special edition Leonardo Cuspide, and that is the body name is Cuspide, and this is in Blue Sea. This came in hazelnut, olive, and gray, but I mean, I'm a teal girl, so this is turquoise, but it really jumped out to me. The reason that it's called Cuspide is because of this gorgeous pattern that looks like a cuspid, which was an old dagger, like a BC times dagger. It has these beautiful, what would this be called? End cap band, and also cap band. Oh, by the way, I have ink on I have that Astorquiza Rot on my fingers. Don't think that I hurt myself. And as you can see, that pattern is here too. I just love that what they did is they took sheets. I wonder if you can see that. Yeah, individual sheets of acrylic and squeezed them together. I think it was like 13 different sheets of acrylic to this, and cut them on the oblique to make this pattern. And it mimics a really expensive type of pen called an Arco that I just could never afford. So I really love that it looks like an Arco. It has this gorgeous chatoyance. And when I write with this, I just feel so unbelievably fancy. It has a 14 karat gold nib in broad. And it was, wait, 14? Yeah, 14. And this was tuned for me before I even got it by Emmy over at Pen Venture. He has his own channel here on YouTube too. Now, this one's really hard to line up. I wanted this Cuspide pattern, because that's my favorite part of the pen, lined up for when I write so I can look at it while I'm writing. And that was, so he moved the nib for me so I could do that. But that also means that it doesn't really line up when you close it. So I always put this chatoyant part a little to the left of the clip and then turn it that way, lined up with the back chatoyant part instead of this part. And I just think that looks beautiful in the pen case, but I'm so glad that, you know, when I'm holding it, that's the part I'm looking at. So that is the Cuspide, and here is what the writing looks like. Ooh, I literally just wrote this, so there, I smeared it for you, but Cuspide is so wet and smooth, and that's the wetness test, although that kind of is too. I mean, look at that, is a true broad. It is, ooh, it's one of my favorite nibs to write with. I love that pen. Then I've got the Endless Pens collaboration exclusive. Oh, by the way, this one is numbered. The number is actually on this section, and this is 45 of 70. Usually the number's on the back here, and that's what you can see here with the Endless Pens exclusive. You can see my number there, the 64 out of 90 pieces that were made. So 90 of these were made worldwide, and 75 of these were made worldwide. So that's something to look for. I don't have a number on my Momento Magico. But this is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. This is probably their most popular model, and that's what this one is, and this one is. So you'll see a lot of these. Oh my gosh, so you can see how you can see through to the filling mechanism. This is another piston. This was too, by the way. And this one also has the gold hardware. So far we've seen that all over these. Another one of the beautiful cap band pattern. Although unlike the Cuspide, it doesn't have it down here. It just has a plain ring. I love both ways. And they all have this gorgeous clip that has the ball on it, which helps it roll on and off whatever you're clipping it to. But I couldn't resist this gorgeous pattern. It looks like copper patina to me, but it also looks like a peacock. But most of all, it looks like when I was a kid, I used to dream about being underwater in a lake and looking up and seeing like kelp and things like that floating to the top and light coming through, and that's what this looks like to me. This is my like bottom of the lake magical looking up pen, and I love this pen. Oh my god. I keep this inked with copper patina from Troublemaker. It looks amazing in here. This one has a steel flex fine nib. So you see those little cutouts, that allows it to flex. And I do put, even though this is a really nice pen, I put shimmer ink in here, and I don't care, I don't mind. You can always take the nib out very carefully and just rinse right through the top if you need to, but I've never had a problem with this. I've never had a clog. I've never had any issue at all. I love these transparent blue parts that you see, because that really does look like water to me. Oh, I love this. It is called the Copper Revival pen, and I don't have any particular way I want this to face. I like that it's a surprise every time. So that is the Copper Revival. It is a piston filler where you fill it from the bottom here, and the whole body fills up. This one lasts forever when you fill this with ink. And I love the chatoyance. I love the sparkle. I have been so happy that I went for it and got this pen. I did have a huge coupon, which made it a lot easier of a decision. This one I got used on Reddit. So Reddit has a forum called Pen Swap, and this was, I believe it was either 2019 or 2021 if this was the second round. Yeah, this is the second round. See, it says second series. Oh my gosh, look at that purple. I can't. This pen is so gorgeous. And I have number 164 of 280. This is called the Momento Zero Grande Mother of Pearl. As you can see why, this literally looks like Mother of Pearl, but it's not. It's a resin. Jonathan Brooks made this resin. He makes a lot of these resins. You can almost assume it's a Jonathan Brooks resin if it's in my collection. He also made something called abalone, and the abalone pen is very similar to this. It has the purples, but instead of where you see like a dark green for the dark parts, it has black. So it's like black, green, and purple. But I love green. Green is one of my favorite colors. I'm here for all the greens, blues, turquoise, teals, purples, pinks. Those are my colors. And so when I first saw this pen on my friend Lau's channel, he has the channel Kenshan Crafts. I'll link it below. I couldn't stand it. I was like, this is too gorgeous. How is this a real thing? So I just started stalking Reddit and made sure if a Mother of Pearl came out with gold or rose gold hardware, because it also comes with silver, and I loved the gold and the rose gold, that I would try to get it. And I actually ended up posting a want to buy because I just didn't see one coming. And someone posted this one, and I love it. This is my only fine. This is a 14 karat gold fine nib. And because I'm not usually a fine girl, I'm, as you know, like a broad flex. The more ink I can lay down, the better. I actually bought micro mesh and smoothed it's 12,000 grit. So it's like barely there micro mesh, and smoothed out the nib. And now it writes much more like a medium. I love that pen. Another piston filler. And this is what that one writes like now. I mean, you can see that it's obviously much more fine than so this is the fine, and before and after tuning. I mean, look at that. It's really cool. This is that MZG I tried to write holding up and my handwriting went haywire. And this is the gold broad. So steel broad, gold fine. Really fun. And I like that I have an option to write with something thinner if I have bad paper, because you can't lay down as much ink if you have bad paper. Okay, this is another Emmy from Pen Venture find. Oh, I love that part. This is called the Momento Zero Grande 2.0 because it's the new model that has the ink window, which I love. And this is in primary manipulation. Now, this one is really hard for me to figure out how I like to put it, because I love when so the material's primary manipulation 1 by Jonathan Brooks. I asked Emmy to pick one that has a ton of blues, teals, purples, pinks, and he picked this out for me and said, just trust me. The matte finish of this, and as you can see, this is the glossy. He asked me, look, if you want that color combination, I'm much more likely to get it for you if you give me the whole range. Like I could do matte or glossy. And I said, the colors are much more important to me than the finish. I like both. And so he sent me the colors I wanted on a shiny version. And I'm so glad he did, because I love that this is see-through, the pink part again. I love when there's some see-through going on. There's see-through in the end cap that you twist to fill the piston converter, the body. See how much there is that you can see through there. And then the other thing I am absolutely obsessed with this is the patterns that came out. So sometimes, and you'll see this with the next one, it's much more like blurred together. You don't see patterns like specific areas like a marble. This one is so much more like a marble. Like, I don't know if this is coming across, but look how marble-like that is. I love this. So I can't stop staring at this section with like the whites like covered on the outside with the blues and greens, and this magenta that carries through to the body here. And if I turn it this way with this swirl that looks like a fun wave on the front, then I get my purples aligned. But I am also completely obsessed with this part that literally looks like a wave, like a real design. So I love this wave and this wave, but I also love the purple and the orange kind of rising up. I can't stop looking at this. And then there's all these greens in the section. So many colors go well with this because it has these coppers and like fire opal, Monteverde fire opal ink type colors that I love. It has purple, so I can put purple in here. I've put Robert Oster Fire and Ice in here 3 times. I always want to refill it. It's actually very hard for me to keep it empty right now. I just want to keep it filled at all times. But I don't want every pen to be inked at all times, because then the water and the dye mix in here, water will evaporate over time, and then it's very dye heavy. And I don't want to hurt my pen by having like super concentrated dyes sitting in such a big section. So, I mean, this is the section, this is a section of pen. I don't want to confuse you. So yeah, I never like try to control where this closes, because it's always a fun surprise to be like, oh, I got my wave, or, you know, oh, oh, I got my purple. Like there's literally no bad way to close this pen. So I love this PM1. And this is, oh, sorry. Maybe you want to know what kind of nib it is. This is a steel medium nib. Obsessed. I love this nib. So there, I got my brown wave that time. This is what that pen writes like. And I am, oh, there's a reason I've had to fill it 3 times because I just keep writing it dry. And I love this Robert Oster Fire and Ice. So this was Emmy from Pen Venture. Love him. This one is from Pen Boutique. This is their Leonardo Momento Zero. So not Momento Zero Grande, but Momento Zero. And you can see how much smaller it is. And it's also a piston. Wait, no, this one's a cartridge converter. So this one, the whole body twists off and you fill, oh, I'm almost out of ink. I'm almost out of ink. And you fill the cartridge just like most pens. And this one, let's see. Okay, there we go. I'm like, don't mess it up. I have it aligned perfectly. So my favorite part of this pen, and it is silver hardware on this one, which I don't have as much. This one had silver hardware too. I think all the other ones are gold or rose gold. This one has a steel nib again, and this one is a stub. So this is my only 1.1 stub from Leonardo. Look at that section. Okay, hold on. Let's just take a moment. Look how that just glows. I'm sure it's not coming across the way it does in person because this one is just so vibrant and like it's alive. So this one is another limited run. In this one, I have number 23 of 100. So this is the Leonardo Momento Zero. And this one is the Rangoli Primary Manipulation 4. So the Primary Manipulation 4, unlike the Primary Manipulation 1, is completely chatoyant. So these are both the same finish. These are both the shiny finish, not the matte satin finish. So the more typical finish of pretty much all these pens. But as you can see, every single moment of this Rangoli Momento Zero is chatoyant. Every single speck of this pen glows and is chatoyant, like a gemstone. This one doesn't really have, I don't think, any chatoyance. Yeah, this one doesn't have any chatoyance or sparkle. It's just the colors that kind of bring it to life. So this one is a mix of the colors and just solid chatoyance. Like if you'll remember, this one is very chatoyant. But not all over. It has some like areas for your eyes to rest a little bit with some matte stuff. I love and really, really, really wanted this PM4 material because it's just writing with jewelry, which is my jam. That's what I like. I want to write with jewelry. That's why I love fountain pens. And I don't care about wearing jewelry. As you can see, I never even wear my real wedding ring. I need to start. But I absolutely love feeling like I'm writing with, I can look at it. I can enjoy it. I feel like jewelry, everyone else is looking at it, enjoying it. I want to look at it. So I loved this part, all the teals and purples, and I contacted Pen Boutique in advance and asked them to send me pictures because the Rangoli is really kind of a crapshoot. There are so many colors, like right here. There's this red, orange, and pink, and that is a totally different color scheme than the entire rest of the pen. That's all purples, blues, and teals. So I love the purple, blue, teal part, and I wanted my eye to see mostly that. So I actually took out the nib and moved it, kind of like how I do when I do this to get the alignment I want, you know, on the front. And you can just keep playing with that until you realize, okay, when I have, you know, the pink over or the pink underneath, then I don't get it on top when I get it closed. So I did the same thing with the actual nib and was able to align the nib with the part of the pen I most enjoy looking at when I'm writing. And this is one of my absolute favorite pens. I love it so much. Ooh, I love it so, so much. Let me get it right. There we go. And I can't believe that I was able to customize it, not only by picking the actual material, but then further tweaking it until I get to look at my favorite parts at all times. So I love that pen. That one I believe is actually still available at the time of this video. This one and this one are probably the two most special limited pens that I have. This one is called the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Purple Sands. And that is the material. And holy smokes, I mean, oh, let me just give you a moment. So hot, hot pink, bubblegum, glowing hot pink, calming, like candy, pulled candy pink, the white mixed in to give, you know, the contrast, all of the chatoyant baby lavender just sparkling all over the place. Then we've got this deep purple, almost blue, with the most ridiculous sparkles. I stare at this one part, this swoop, constantly. I do try to get that swoop aligned with the front most times, but again, this is another one where there's so many interesting things happening everywhere you look that it's totally fine however I close it, so I don't really fuss with it. I love this part, how shiny that is. And this is rose gold. So I believe this is my only rose gold. And this one just has the bands, the 3 bands, just like these two. And that's the most common look. These are a little less common. But this one, they only made 38 in the world. Oh, sorry, 37. I have number 5 of 37. This was such a limited run. It sold out immediately. And I saw this on PenSwap used and I was like, immediately. This is the wettest medium nib I've ever used. It's a rose gold, 14 karat gold nib. I love the section too, has that marble thing because the pink in the section is completely translucent and you can see like the mechanisms in the section. I love that. That looks like a heart. I get a little of it in the body too. There are a couple of places where you can see through. I can't with this pen. It is so gorgeous. So I love this one. Another piston filler. Pictures don't do any of these justice. I just have to be clear. If you get a Leonardo with this type of material, it is not gonna be the same. When you see it in person, you're gonna gasp. You're gonna gasp because even as gorgeous as this looks in person on the film, in person, it's like, I can't. There's no description for how gorgeous it is. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I'm so proud of the collection that I've gathered. Every Leonardo in this type of material is different. And the ones that I've got, I'm so happy with, and I love them so much, and I use them every day. And I try to keep some uninked so I can miss them, and then I get to ink them again, and I'm all excited. So this is what's going on with this one. So I love these pens so much. Oh yeah, look, this is some more. So this is the primary manipulation 1. This is the Rangoli, the 1.1. I love these pens. Let me know which you would pick if you could only have one in the comments. And I'm so glad that you joined me for my Leonardo collection. I hope that you enjoyed it. Until next time, remember, create something cute.